Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon. We from Group 4 would like to explain our present material about the genre of narrative. First of all, I want to introduce four members of this group. The first one is...
Hello everyone, I'm Wahyu Ramdani with student number 222122040.
And the next is...
Hello everyone, my name is Nabila Hadzanni with student number 222122059.
The third one is...
Hello everyone, my name is Raisa Lentera Bumi and my NPM is 222122067.
Okay, and the last is myself. My name is Okta Salsabila Putri with NPM 222122075. Well, let's go straight to the first discussion, which will be explained by Wahyu Ramdani.
Okay, so here I am. I'm gonna explain about the narrating definitions. What is the narrating definition? In the literary field, texts are classified according to genres, which allow for a broader and more generalized organization understanding of text. It is precisely from these genres that the subgenres and types of literature with which we interact today begin to emerge. Particularly, the literary narrative genre is one of the rich in the variety, given the other major categories have generated a production of extremely important works for word literature. Definition of narrative genre. The definition of narrative genre of narrative, as it is also known, is one of the largest genres in literature whose text can be presented orally or in writing, so that each of the related events or stories that might or may not be fictional. It is a genre that includes the presence of characters that are described in the text and their participation in the course of the story, where each one proposes a point of view or a perspective from their thought, feelings, and emotion. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for Wahyu Ramdani for the explanation about narrating definitions. Now continues the second discussion, which will be discussed by Nabila Hadzanni.
I will explain about the narrating types that consists of two types. The first one is narrative, and the second one is account. Narrative writing is essentially story writing. A narrative can be fiction or non-fiction, and it can also occupy the space between this as a semi-autobiographical story, historical fiction, or a dramatized retelling of actual events. And the second one is recount. Recount writing is a style of writing that recalls an event or experience. They're usually based on the experience of the writer, and therefore, they're most often told from the first person, but this isn't always the case. Sometimes they're told on behalf of someone else. And that's it from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Nabila, for the explanation. The next discussion will be discussed by Raisa Lentera Bumi. So please, Raisa.
Now I be explain about narrative structure. Number one is orientation, is gives the background of the story. Complication, the mind is introduce the main character or confront with a problem. Number three, series of event to explain and tell the story by exploring a series or event. Number 4, resolution is describe how the character resolve the problem. And the last, coda, to summarize the narrative and marks the end. Next is reconstructor. The first is orientation, is provide the reader with background information about the event that will be recounted. It includes details such as the time, place, and people involved in the event. The series of the events is the main body of the text and retells the event in chronological order. The events should be clear and concise, with each paragraph focusing on a single event. The reorientation concludes the text by providing the reader with a summary of the event and any final thoughts or reflection on the experience. Maybe that's all for me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you, Raisa, for the explanation. Now continue the discussion, which will be discussed by myself. Types of narratives. First is short story. The definition of a short story is tells about a single event or experience, too fictional or not true, and it has a beginning, middle, and end. Next is historical fiction. Is a fictional story with real and made-up characters that is set in the past. Next is legend. A folk legend is a folk tale that is based on a real person or event but can be proven. And the next is novel. Novel is an invented prose narrative of considerable length and a certain complexity that deals imaginatively with human experience, usually through a connected sequence of events involving a group of persons in a specific setting. Next is fable. Fable is a folk tale that often teaches a moral or lesson as using animals as characters. The last is fairy tale. Is a folk tale that is often humorous and assumed to be untrue. Next is types of recount. First is personal recount. A personal recount is what's most likely to be covered in a school. This type of recount writing is all about the writer's recollection of a particular event or experience. It includes things like diary writing, but it's also what we do whenever we tell someone a story about something that happens to us. The next is factual recount. A factual recount includes things like newspaper reports. The purpose of a factual recount is to inform the reader about a particular event. Because of these, efforts and adjectives are less important. You'll often see facts and figures in this kind of recount writing. The next is imaginative recount. This kind of recount writing applies factual knowledge of an event to create a fictional account of the event. The purpose of an imaginative recount is to help the reader understand an event by providing a fictional recount that's as true to life as possible. They are perfect for creative writing lesson. And the next is procedural recounts. Procedural recounts are very common in English lessons. They are more for scientists. In fact, they are most often used to describe an experiment so that it can be replicated by others. Because of this, language needs to be exact. Procedural Procedural recounts might not even involve the use of full sentences. And the last is literary recounts. This kind of recount writing is all about entertainment. They can be about fictional or real events and involve real or fictional characters for an interesting writing challenge. And that's all from me. The next discussion will be discussed by Wahyu Ramdani.
Okay, here I am. I wanna explain about the grammatical features. In grammatical features contains 6.1. When sequencing people and events in time and space, narrating typical use. They are contains 2.1 action verbs and temporal connective. 2. Recounts and stories are typical written in the past tense unless quoting direct speech. 3. In action sequences, mainly action verbs are used, while in reflection or evaluations, mental verbs predominate. 4. Narratives often use action verbs metaphorically to create an effective image. 5. Narratives often use rhythm and repetition to create particular effects. And the last one, play with sentence structure in another common feature of narratives. Often sentences comprising one word or a short phrase are used to create poignant effects. That's enough for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Wahyu Ramdani, for the explanation. And this is the last. And maybe that's all that can be conveyed from group 4. We are apologies if there is a wrong word. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.